Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vito x DINO. This is episode 29, if you can believe it. My name is Vito Delsante. That guy's name is Dean Haspiel.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dean Haspiel.
I wonder why, or wonder how uh, shows like uh, uh, Jimmy and Eddie's podcast and Andy Belanger and Sean Crystal, I wonder how those shows got to be so polished. I kind of like our non-polished, as soon as you click on the YouTube link, it starts.
No,
There's no.
I appreciate that. And in fact, I'll I'll get to the second point in a second. The first point is when I tell people what our podcast is like now that we've done it and seen it and heard it, it's like we look like we're underwater and we're talking in caves, right? Which is what I think Warren Ellis
Warren Ellis,
mentioned.
yeah.
And it's true. And it could it be better? I don't know. Are you hitting the wrong buttons? Like,
No.
why is it so crappy? It's so crappy, our show. But at the same time, I hope there is like it will be archived and be out there and like, for other people to come across and hear us and talk about our stuff. But it's crazy. And when I got off the phone with our last guest, Peter Rostovsky,
Mhm.
right? He was like, so you're gonna edit this, right? Because it's almost 2 hours. So you're gonna get it down. I was like, edit what? What are you talking about? Like, we don't do that, and I said the most that Vito does is for the audio is that you add an intro and outro
Yeah.
and the flush of a toilet. And the thing that was funny about that, the flushing of the toilet, Peter didn't know that that was part of our thing, our joke. He literally remember when he got off early with
Yeah.
us. He was mad. He thought we were dissing him. And I spent an hour talking him off the ledge of feeling dissed by a silly little joke that we have. And it's clear, like, well, it's because you haven't watched our show.
Right.
That's part of what emerged
It
from
is
us
it
doing
is
this.
the one inside, not even inside, but the one joke that the running joke that the show has, and it's the fact that I mean, it's episode 29. Everybody knows this, except for the people that don't watch. But it's episode 29. Ever since first one, I've had a toilet in the same room, and that's the whole. It's making fun of my. I don't know if we're making fun of my circumstance, but we're just making fun of the fact that I record out of an office that's in a bathroom.
And to me, that's the we never planned anything, right?
No.
So like what's cool is that we do have one consistent little thing that when we have somebody on, the way we say bye bye is when we flush them down the toilet because you acknowledge that you're in the
Right.
bathroom of the toilet. Anyway, okay, great,
With
wonderful.
the exception of Dan Goldman because I was on vacation and I was in a bedroom.
Ah, yes,
So
that's right.
that's the only exception.
Um, he escaped the toilet.
He'll get one.
Um,
He'll get flushed
so
one of these days.
so I have a whole list of we're going to do another verses. So
Yes.
the last verses we did was music.
Yes.
This versus is going to be a little bit of a dealer's choice, but it's all comics related. But before we do that,
Yeah.
I think there were a couple of topics you wanted
Yes.
to discuss.
Well, I was very excited on, I want to say it was Sunday, might have been Monday, that I saw your Insta. I mean, you might have posted it on Sunday, but I saw it on Monday. But you posted on Instagram a photo of your Superman ticket. And I was like, oh, thank God we can talk about Superman. And I mean, I don't know. We might delve into spoiler territory, so I apologize. Um, I don't care at this point. Like, that's the other thing about our podcast is that the idea of editing any of this and like cutting and like going, all right, fast forward to 4 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that is kind of antithetical to what we do. Like
Right,
you wouldn't fast forward a conversation, and that's what our conversations are. So
right.
like the idea that Peter's like saying, "Oh, you're going to edit it down because it's almost 2 hours." It's like, no, because we were talking the entire time.
Yes,
That's our conversation. Like,
right.
why would we edit that down? That's part of what we do, you know?
Well, I think it's also because he probably presumed, and this is really sweet of him to think that we're super professional at doing this. But
Yeah.
and I know that he has his own podcast that he does that he hasn't done in a while. And then there are other podcasts like I mean the reason why I also brought it up is because you were saying about all the other pro like podcasts. They're
Mhm.
very slick. we're the other side of slick, right?
Yeah.
We're
I
like an
mean,
oil sludge.
yeah, like there's these folks that are very tech savvy, I guess, and I wouldn't say that I'm a Luddite. I know that you've always called yourself a Luddite, but I'm somewhat capable. I mean, I do these 29 times, in a row so far. So I know something, but I couldn't like I think at one point I said if anybody wants to do an animated intro or an animated outro for the show, go ahead and contact us. Our contact information is in all the show notes, usually uh, for Instagram, or I like you can find me by looking up incognito. The spelling's in our show notes. It's fairly simple, but again, I don't expect anybody to do anything for free. So it's like, if you're feeling froggy, jump.
Yeah, and that's the spirit of it, right? So, I'm assuming
The funny
that
thing is,
yeah.
if we ever have something fell, I don't know what the hell fell. If we ever have Warren Ellis on the show, like, so we got two guys that are in a cave and underwater, and doesn't he live in a castle or something? Like, what a messed up show that'll be.
Right. Just echoes off the walls, you
Absolutely.
know. So,
My kids walking in and out, Warren just like, echoing and people walking
it's
behind you.
disaster palace, a palace of disaster. Um, so what did you think of Superman?
I
James Gunn's Superman.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, the original movie is called Superman the Motion Picture or Superman the Movie. I forget. I think it's Superman the Motion Picture. And that was done in 1978. I think a couple of weeks ago, I talked about my incident where I went to go see it. I remember the day that I saw Superman 78 because my hand got shut in a door and it was painful. So I remember the pain more than I remember, seeing the movie. But I did see the movie in the theater with my dad, um, and I have to say that um, over the years I've been very apologetic about the time travel thing because I love time travel and just about everything. I'll use a time travel trick in just about any comic I can get my hands on. Um, And I think, like there's that I was 5 in 78. So there's that 5-year-old, like I'll apologize for that. And I'll apologize for the in Superman 2 when he takes the S off of his chest and makes like a net or out of cellophane, whatever the hell that was. Um, and I feel like after watching James Gunn's current version, I no longer have to apologize for it
Mhm.
because this was better. And I know that that's subjective, and I know that that's not like Jamal Igle and I were like going not back and forth, but like we were talking about it. He's like, it's just below 78. I'm like, nah, man, this is better than 78
Mhm.
because if you put the two set pieces, the two climaxes together, this one's so much better, so much more interesting. And I mean, you can make the argument that special effects have come a long way since 78, obviously. You can make the argument that the performances, we expect something different from performances than we would back when we were 5 years old, like whatever the case may be. I think, though, like I've watched Superman 78 dozens of times since then. And I've grown up with the movie and I've seen the movie at least 30 times, if not more, in my entire life. And like, I don't know that I've ever watched the movie in pieces where I come in the middle of it. I've always made it like a plan to sit down and watch the movie. You know what I mean? Just because I want to watch the
Mhm.
whole thing. And so I think I have enough of I wouldn't say an expert opinion, but enough of an informed opinion to say that this one is better. Absolutely better.
So, first of all, I'm
And I know
glad you
that's not
liked
what
it.
we're asking, but
No, I know, and I'm glad you liked it probably as much as I did. In fact, well, a couple of things, but I kept telling a couple of people I didn't want to leave the theater at the end. I didn't want to go home. I was home.
yeah.
Okay? Like I was super emotional throughout the entire movie for many, many reasons. The fact that he kept t- uh, plucking at the nostalgia strings constantly. He always felt that there was a 1970s adjacent. There's a 1960s adjacent version because it's like a Doom Patrol comic book or something. It's bananas, you know, like
Mhm.
it's got it's got Superman in it, but it's also got who the hell's Mr. Terrific? I don't even know who that guy is. And I'm
He
like,
he was
he's the best thing in
created
the movie, like
he
in
was
a way.
created by, I want to say, John Ostrander. Uh,
Really?
yeah, during his run on the Spectre, and so maybe Tom Mandrake was the co-creator, but then he became a member of the JSA during Jeff Johns' run. And then he was also in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon where he was basically running the Watchtower. Like he's a pretty prolific guy at this point.
So
Um,
I don't know this guy. Fair plays on it. I don't know what he does. I don't know what his powers are. Even
he,
I don't get it. Like,
so in the DC comics, he is one of the smartest men in the world, on par with Lex Luthor, on par with Bruce Wayne, on par with even Ted Cord, Blue Beetle, and he's also rich. He's also a widower, and he was the reason why he showed up in the Spectre was he was going to commit suicide because his wife had passed, and so the Spectre kind of helped him along the path, to not doing that. So he's a very rich character. Like he's an extremely in like the talk after, I watched the movie on Thursday of last week. So the talk since then has been like they're thinking of a TV show, like an HBO Max TV show, which I think would be great. He's a very, very rich character. Mr. Terrific was the inspiration behind the character Cadmus in my book, The Golden Guard. So kind of, like this athletic, like I think he was an athlete as well, like an Olympian athlete, and just one of the smartest men in the world, inventor, all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff's in the movie too.
so yeah, they definitely touch upon a lot of stuff. I kept thinking, was he, if they had had Batman in the movie, would he have been Batman? You know, because of the,
That's an interesting argument. Yeah.
you know, in some ways, because they toy spoilers. They toy with the Justice Gang, with a not as Nathan Fillion portrayed the what's his name,
Guy Gardner.
Guy Guard. No,
Yeah.
what's the name of the? Oh, Hal
Hal Jordan is a different guy.
is the one we grew up with. Okay, so Guy Gardner is a total jerk, an asshole in the comics. He was less of an asshole in this movie, I have to say. You know,
He was enough of the Giffen DeMatteis, Guy Gardner, Justice League International, Guy Gardner, but I think it was a little. I mean, it's not his movie, so I'm sure.
no, it's not. And but he did have well with the movie. What the best part of the movie is, first of all, I said on, and it wasn't really a spoiler when I wrote it. I like, he saves a squirrel.
Mhm.
When he saved the squirrel and he didn't want the kaiju to die, I was like, this is my Superman. Like this is the Superman I would write, in a lot of ways. And he was a weakened Superman, which reminds me of the kind of Superman I want to write and draw is the George Reeves Superman, where he's turning guns into pretzels, and he's not dealing with like it does go bananas when the city is splitting in half and there's black hole stuff and it goes super Guardians of the Galaxy kind of crazy,
Yeah,
which is fine.
there's the thing that I appreciated about that entire thing, that entire sequence that starts in the pocket dimension, and then leaks out into the real world, is that we've seen that conceit before. I'm sure we've seen the idea of like, I mean, hell, we're going to see the Fantastic Four next week, the negative zone. Like it's another. We've seen it, done a bunch of different ways. I don't know that. I've never heard of an anti-proton river, which is one of like I don't care, man. I don't even know if that's real science. I don't care. Like that's just. Like,
No.
I was thinking about it afterwards. I was like, why would they even like? That's the dumbest thing, but it's so comic booky. That's the thing about this movie is that it kind of wears its comic book credentials on its sleeve.
Oh, I kept waiting for I would love James Gunn to write comic books. I mean,
Yeah,
he totally gets it. He
I'm sure
totally
at one
gets it.
point, that'll happen. Jim Lee. I read or I saw an interesting tidbit of information that Jim Lee and James Gunn both saw Superman 1978 in the same movie theater in the same Missouri city.
Mm,
Maybe not at the exact same time, but they both went to
mm,
the same
mm,
theater,
mm,
which, like there's like some kind of simpatico there. I'm sure at some point, Jim
mm.
Lee, being the president of DC Comics, will probably try to rope him in or something like that.
So I couple of things. I talked to a prominent publisher in comics. Hey, what do you think of the movie? And he was like, eh. I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, and I totally disagree with him. He was
Mhm.
like, at the beginning, when that amazing beginning with 3 centuries ago,
Yeah.
30 years ago, 3 months, 3 days, 3 minutes, right?
Mhm.
Sets it all up. That's all you need to know. And
Yeah.
then Superman comes flying and crashes, and we've seen it in the trailers.
Mhm.
It's been spoiled in that way. But it starts off with him getting beat up, right? And he's whistling for crypto, and he gets taken back to be, healed somewhat by the sun. And I was like, that's the best beginning. Okay. And he was like, this prominent publisher was like, no, you need to go back a half hour and see him have this fight and did it and how this happens. Like, what are you talking about? The minute he crash landed was bleeding, you already saw the fight in your mind because
Right.
you've seen Superman fight in Zack Snyder's movies and Christopher you've seen you've seen Superman fight. So you don't need that part, which is the correct thing that James Gunn did. And then the other thing that was super important to me was the idea of being kind is punk, right?
Mhm.
Which is beautiful. And I totally agree with that. And that when Superman's yelling at Lex Luthor, not even yelling really, he's
You mean
just
at the
saying,
end?
my greatest superpower is my humanity.
Mhm.
I mean, you just want to start crying. You're like, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
I was shockingly invested in the relationship between him and Lois to the point where like if they were on screen together, I was like my daughter was with me, but I'm sure she didn't see. But I was smiling from ear to ear. Like they just like their chemistry was very real to me for some reason. So I wanted to see them. And like when this is a pretty big spoiler, so I'll preface this by saying I'm going to put my hand up during the spoiler like this, and then when I'm done, I'll put it down. So if anybody wants to um, fast forward, just look for my hand. Okay. So, spoiler. At one point, Clark says, I love you, and she doesn't say anything back. And it made me feel like, oh, this is not good. You know what I mean? Like, and so you're invested in that conversation. When are they going to have that talk? When are they going to talk about how they feel? Like, and you're thinking in your head, this is a comic book movie. Why do we care about how they feel? Like, let's just watch the. But you do care, and like the whole kindness is punk, and the whole being human is my superpower. Like that's everything that needed to be said. And so
Yeah.
I feel like, like I was on the verge of tears a couple of times. I was grinning from ear to ear. I think if I were to take one thing away is I don't really his parents were just kind of there. And I don't mean like they needed to be um more prominent in the movie. They just didn't seem they seemed so they seem so just like set dressing. I mean, there's an important conversation. I love the conversation they had when they were calling him on the phone in the beginning, and they're like, and she doesn't know how to use the phone, so she's got it laying down, and she's like yelling into the phone. I like the parts where we see them, and I love the ending in regards to his parents, but I just wish that there was a little bit more meat on that bone.
I was okay with that. I hear you, but I was okay because he actually, I mean, as writers, we sometimes would be like, oh, there's the written moment, the reason why the scene is here.
Right,
And the
right.
father had a very important thing to say to Clark, about basically because Clark is wrestling with the fact that his biological parents,
Mhm.
and I'm still, and we'll get to that in a second, whether that's true or not, basically sent a message in the ship. And part of the story is that there's a glitch. He can only ever hear the first half of the message, and then Luther somehow is able to get the second half of the message, to hear what it says. And I thought that was, in a weird way, the most controversial part of the movie, if it's true, because it's now setting up that Kryptonians are some elitist, classist motherfuckers. you
True.
know,
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, that was pretty shocking in some ways to me. That idea that that they sent their son to another planet to be their god and have a harem of women so they can repopulate half breed Kryptonians or whatever.
mm,
Sorry, keep spoiling, but it was also an interesting idea. But also, was it manipulated? Is it a lot? It could come out in a sequel like, oh, that was a fabrication.
right. I think I think at this point it's kind of moot because of how the movie ended when he was sitting in the
Right.
Fortress of Solitude. But that being said, um, it's not something that it was new, like a concept that was new to me. I feel like I've read that somewhere else. I know that it's kind of the plot of Invincible, the Robert Kirkman story.
Mm,
So maybe, like we're just, bleeding, the lines between, Invincible being a kind of half human kind of thing,
right.
like
Right.
being and stuff. But just quick hits, Jimmy Olsen, totally, Jimmy Olsen, Mr. Terrific, totally stole the movie.
Well,
Um,
and Jimmy Olsen is a ladies' man
yeah,
now.
but that's a Matt Fraction and a Grant Morrison thing, I think. Like
Oh,
in All-Star
okay.
Superman, that was a thing. I loved Rachel Brosnahan. I've never seen Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Me neither.
I know everyone tells me like I should. It's just not something like Catskills comedians are fun to me when I am being referred to as one. Uh,
Hmm.
like when you call me Red Skelton or whatever, but I don't know that I would watch a series about it. But I think, she's so magnetic. Like she's just um she's got that same kind of Margot Kidder magnetism, but there's something very um polished about it. I don't want to say like because Margot Kidder had like a little scratchy voice, but so there's a little bit more of a polish to it. I thought Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was fantastic. I think
Amazing.
he had like all the right um, kind of relishing moment. Like he didn't chew up scenery, but like when he was on scene, he was also just kind of you just couldn't take your eyes off him because you didn't know.
Well, and he had a Breaking Bad moment in that when Walter White admits his ego,
Mm,
what made him break bad, basically.
right.
Luther says something to the effect of like, "Yeah, I'm envious. And envy is what makes me really smart and see the things that none of you see
Mhm.
about this guy, Superman, and what he's all about. Because he's a danger because he believes he's a danger. So you kind of get, oh, this is where Luther's coming from. Okay, and not only that, I actually had empathy for the guy when he cried at the end. I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah,
And that's the power of the acting and James Gunn's filmmaking and everything else. Like,
there's a you can say a lot about the things that kind of motivate Lex Luthor, the character, to do not just in this film, but in comics and other media. You can make a lot of arguments about the things that motivate him to do the things that he does, but I think the when you boil it down to the essence of he wishes he was Superman, like, and that envy kind of drove him to be the
mm,
best and the smartest and the richest and everything. And it's very realistic in the sense that billionaires like Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos, they keep buying and buying and buying, and they never seem to be happy. And
right,
that's what this is saying.
right.
But I think David Cornsweet was great. I think the whole movie was just
Yeah, he was great. And my if I had to have a criticism, and I'm sure push comes to shove, I could find little things here and there, but I'm not. Who cares? But I was going to say the Daily Planet and like Perry White didn't have as much play, and
Mhm.
then maybe it's on the cutting room
I
floor,
would think so, yeah.
or that maybe they'll expand on that in another movie. So
Yeah,
whatever.
they had a reporter, Ron Troop, who was like got called on to Mr. Terrific's T Craft, I think it's called. And I don't know that he had a line. And like he was yet important enough that we're evacuating the city, we're evacuating the building and the Daily Planet, but you five reporters are coming with me. And I don't know that he had one line in the movie. I mean, I'm definitely going to go see this movie again. Like,
Of course, there was a reporter on the TV that had a couple lines, and it was played by Christopher Reeve's son.
yeah, Will Reeves, yeah,
So that got in there. No, it's a great movie. It restored, well, didn't restore faith because I love these comics. I
sure.
actually love all the movies that we complain about or don't complain, whatever. Like, but I'll say this: Thunderbolts, Superman, and then FF. I think we have a trifecta about
Yeah,
to happen.
I think this year will go down as a banner year for like, especially when you think about all the quote unquote losses on both sides, like DC, Warner Brothers, whatever you want to call it. The Batman is fantastic, but it's totally separate from this kind of continuity until we hear otherwise. Like there's a chance, but who knows? Um, there's also, the Marvel missteps with Disney Plus stuff and Eternals and a couple of the other movies, Thor: Love and Thunder, to a lesser degree, I would say Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I loved it, but
I loved it.
yeah,
It's Evil Dead 4. It's Evil Dead
exactly.
4, and it's great.
And I
And
think
actually,
that's
I saw the first episode of Ironheart, and I thought it was pretty good, and I hear
yeah,
good things about it. So, listen, I'm a fan, man. I'm gonna watch all this stuff.
sure.
Sorry.
I mean, I've never seen the Jonah Hex movie, and I've never seen the Halle Berry Catwoman movie.
Oh,
I
me
have
neither, actually.
I have limits, like I don't just watch it all, but I would if I had
Sure,
my druthers, But
sure.
yeah, I would love to see this movie again. I'm definitely going to own this movie. I will watch it as many times as possible. There's so much, when you watch a movie, sometimes as a creator, you're looking for the mistakes and you're looking for the missed opportunities and you're looking for if I had my hands on that script or if I was the director or whatever, and you're always like, I would do blank, I would do this, or I would change this, I would cut this out, or I would add, to this part. Honestly, even with, whatever I said about this parents, I wouldn't change a thing in this movie.
Right,
Not a
right.
thing. And it's 2 hours and 9 minutes long. And I still wouldn't change a movie. I would sit there and watch 24 hours of this movie if I could.
That was going back to what I said. I didn't want to leave my seat at
Right.
the end. So, oh, here's a thought. Uh, all right, let me ask you.
Okay.
You saw, the after credits stinger, whatever you
I
call it,
saw
right?
the one with crypto, but I did not see the other one only because I had to take Sadie to a doctor's appointment.
Ah,
So we had
well,
to like,
you know what it is, right?
yes, yes.
All right, so like a piece of the wall of one of the buildings is a crack that's a little misaligned.
Uh,
Are they suggesting there's a joke, like, oh, you didn't get it right, but are they suggesting that maybe that line, kind of like Marvel's 5 year jump, that Marvel's 5 years ahead of us.
yes.
Is there like a suggestion that maybe the fact that I know a city got split in half, but
Mm,
still, that's a major, just like hello, New Brooklyn.
mm.
Is there a suggestion that something is awry for the
I
future?
think, here's what I think, and I know that this is like, we're just prognosticating at this point. I think that it's just there for the chemistry between Superman and Mr. Terrific, just to see them have that thing, oh, I shouldn't have said that, whatever, like, oh man, I really do put my foot in
Mm,
my mouth sometimes, whatever, just to kind of humanize Superman a little bit more and to kind of get that interplay. But also, and this is where the prediction comes in, I think one of two things will happen with those buildings. Number one, Lex Luthor will go on a goodwill campaign after getting out of Belle Reve and repair all the buildings. Number one,
mm,
that's one part. Or number two, a strange benefactor from Gotham City will do it.
Oh, so
So
you're looking at it as that it's not like some cosmic weird
no,
misalignment.
no.
It really is an opportunity to have either the Bruce Wayne or Lex Luthor kind of. That's interesting. I never would have thought of that. Never
Yeah,
would have
that's
thought of
my thing. That's my take. I don't think it. I think it just stands to be that scene there, and then I think after that, it's just whatever they want to play into it. If they want to steal the idea of Lex Luthor or Bruce Wayne doing it, be my guest. We have we have a couple of viewers, so maybe one of
Right,
them will get this back to whatever. I don't know.
right. All right.
Who do you
So
want to who do you want to see as the next villain?
I'm not the biggest Superman like comic book reader. For Superman from his roster of villains,
Mm.
I think well with James Gunn, I don't know how to say his name, but Mr. Mxyzptlk or whatever,
Mixospitalik. Don't try to.
something like that.
Yeah, it's been if not for Mark Waid, I wouldn't know how to say it.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
But I think that James Gunn would have a ball with him.
Oh yeah,
Okay. I'm not a big fan of Brainiacs. I don't care about really smart like villains. Sorry, Lex Luthor's already so smart. Despero, is that is
Despero.
it
Yeah,
Despero? Is that a Superman villain?
he can be. He's most
Or
most
maybe like a
Justice League.
Justice League.
Yeah,
Yeah. So well, you might know what would you pick?
I would. I mean, I would love to see Brainiac only for to bring more of the Kryptonian stuff in, and
Hmm.
like show the shrunken cities, and it would be Superman, Crypto, and Supergirl at that point going against him.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's the thing. Crypto was the best.
absolutely.
That Supergirl cameo was great.
I thought it was like I didn't realize she was playing drunk. I didn't care because I thought she was so charming, so
Yeah.
charming. Like and like
Yeah.
that scene, that sequence alone is just one of the most charming things I've seen in a superhero movie since, um, weirdly, since James Gunn's dance off with Ronan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a charming thing. It's not great. It's not bad. It's somewhere in the middle. And I think charming is something that doesn't need to be discounted in
Right.
this.
Right.
But
Totally.
but yeah,
Totally.
I mean, I could see like a legacy of Krypton versus Brainiac kind of story. I wouldn't mind seeing a buildup with like a subplot with Bruno Mannheim and Intergang that leads to a eventual apocalypse dark side thing, maybe, because we have to have our obligatory Jack Kirby comment, later
Sure.
in the show. Um,
Sure.
I also don't think we need to rush Darkseid.
No.
That's part of Thanos is that we waited 8, 9 movies, something like that, before
Right.
we actually saw him. Um,
Right. Right.
but I would prefer a like a A plot of Brainiac with a B subplot of Bruno Mannheim Intergang that Lois is investigating, crimes that are taking place. Maybe get an introduction of John Henry Irons, aka Steel. It could go a bunch of different ways. I think, like
Right.
I think the one thing I can come out of this movie saying with a sense of yeah, I feel this deeply. I trust wherever James Gunn takes this. And
Absolutely.
that could be, you could even say that across the board for the entire DCU that he's building. I trust where he's taking it. Creature Commandos is a fun show, but it's not,
Right.
and this is the opening salvo that, leads into Peacemaker, another great cameo, just talking shit on Superman. Um, I think, like this is a great, it's a movie, so you can't discount that. The movies count more than the TV shows or whatever. But, as good as those other two things are, this I think sets up everything, and I think it's better than I even had hopes for. I mean, I knew it was going to be good. I just didn't think I would, make it my favorite movie.
Yep. No, it's great. Did you have one other topic I think you
Yeah,
mentioned before, and then we'll
yeah.
get into the verses?
This week marks the 40th anniversary, since we love music, of Live Aid. 40th anniversary. So that would have made me 12 and would have made you what, like 18. Like you would have been
Yeah,
either
yeah, yeah,
graduating or going into college.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have any memories of watching it?
You said Live Aid because you told me you were going to bring this up, and I was like, which one was that? I was
I
like,
mean,
I was thinking, which one was that? Because I think I don't. So
okay,
there's obviously famously there's Woodstock, which I wasn't at,
right.
and then there was We Are the World. For some reason, I'm more attached to We Are the World, the making of that song, than was Live Aid a part of that? Like,
No. Okay, so there was Band-Aid was the British pop musicians getting together to do a song called "Do They Know It's Christmas,"
right?
which I'm sure you're aware of. Then a couple of months, maybe, I know it wasn't a year because Grammys usually are in March or April, and that was November. So I would say a couple of months fly, forward. And Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson basically steal everybody from the Grammys to go record "We Are the World," USA for Africa. Prince apparently was invited, did not go, but ended up, giving a song to them to put on the B side.
Yeah, he did a song. Oh
Something like
God,
"Tears of Their Eyes" or something like
Tears in
that.
the Eye, like it was acoustic. And you know who sang the Prince lyric?
Hmm.
Huey Lewis.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Hmm.
That's good.
Hmm.
So then, I believe, if not that year, it might have been the year after. It's 2025, so it'll be 85. So that was 80. So I believe it was a year later. Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats, who organized Band Aid and was, I believe, present during the USA for Africa recording. I know he gave some kind of like, speech, like a pep talk or whatever, to thank them and to, thank everybody for their time and, say this is, we're doing a good thing here. So he had organized a concert which would take place on two continents, one at Wembley Stadium in England, and the other one would be in Philadelphia. I don't remember what the name of the stadium was. It might have been. It's not RFK, but yeah. So there was a British contingent and then an American contingent, and so I woke up so early to watch TV, and I just remember Madonna. I remember Queen. I remember Bowie. I remember Phil Collins doing both. Like he got on he famously performed in at Wembley. I believe he played drums for the Led Zeppelin members, and then he flew to the United States to Philadelphia on the Concorde same day, and he performed there. So
That's awesome.
it was it was amazing. Like it was like I just remember being it was summer. Yeah, obviously it's July, and it's summer vacation, and like you're just trying to do all this proto mod band, like post punk English band, and then Paul Weller's done like a bunch of solo stuff since. One of my favorite like musicians, but I didn't know who he was until that day. So it's it was a lot. It was really cool because you got to be exposed to like Brian Eno and Per Ubu, like these British acts you
Hmm.
didn't really know, but then you got to like you kind of learn about them as a result.
I mean, I don't remember watching it. I'm sure I saw parts of it or something. I don't remember like stopping to watch it. I just don't remember. And now you make me want to watch. I'm sure there's a recording of it,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like,
there's tons. Like there's a Live Aid YouTube channel where you could watch, hour by hour, and
okay.
it's not complete. It's not like definitive, like viewing experience, but it's kind of fun to watch, like
Right. Right.
they have the Queen performance is the one that I think everybody, you know, tends to see a lot, but like the David Bowie performance was amazing. Like I just watched it.
Is the Queen one where he gets the crowd going
Yes.
up and oh, I've
Yeah.
seen that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that, and
It
actually
was
that
in
was in
the
the movie.
Bohemian
Yeah,
Rhapsody movie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then the
I
David Bowie, like he does like a really like upbeat version of TVC 15, and it's just like it's kind of like it's a good song. It's a great song. It's one of my favorites. But he does it in a kind of like a cha-cha type of like
mm,
speed. It's amazing. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it. Like
that's awesome.
I love it.
Going back real quick to We Are the World.
Mhm.
There's a funny. I don't know if you saw the documentary.
It-
So you saw the part where they're talking about how I think Stevie Wonder was looking for the bathroom and Ray Charles said, "Don't I'll show you." What? Come on, man.
so messed
Yes.
up.
I love it. I love it. Um anyway, okay. So so all right. Awesome. Live Aid, Superman, fantastic. Now we're gonna play this game of verses. Now
Yes.
I've written a bunch, so I don't know if we can get to them all. So there's going to be verses where it's an elimination game where you have to pick one over the other.
Right.
Right? That's like what we do with the music,
Mhm.
and then they no longer exist in the universe of comics. So I have a list for Marvel superheroes, then DC superheroes, then I have a Marvel and DC bonus section.
Okay.
Then I have a whole bunch of comics creators. I don't, depending on how long we go, we might save the comics creators for later. It
Yeah.
it's going to be devastating. By the
Do
way,
you know
it's
what
going to hurt.
another way to do this would be too, which would take a little bit more time than we like we couldn't do it next week, let's say. But actual issues, like
Oh my god,
you know what I mean? Like
make
first
one
issue,
versus the other. Like,
yeah, like
yeah,
that would be
that's great
insanity.
too.
But
You know
like,
what? I'm going to leave that up to you, and we just
okay,
do 10. Just
all
do
right,
10, and
all
then I'm
right,
going to leave that up to you since I'm doing this.
all
Okay.
right, cool.
So some of these are going to be really difficult, and some are softballs, kind of. I think we'll see. I think some are more obvious than others. But remember, I'm going to start off with this: Spider-Man versus Hulk.
Spider-Man.
You save Spider-Man.
Yeah,
There is no more Hulk.
I could live without a Hulk.
I could too, and I think the reason is I love the Hulk, but he really was, I think, originally like uh, a Jekyll and Hyde character. If you
Yeah,
think about it,
yeah.
you know, and a response to nuclear war and all that. That's
As
cool.
most of Marvel stuff was. It's just, with the thing with the Hulk is, um, I try to think of like almost like we were talking about like definitive issues. I try to think of like definitive issues of the Hulk, and I don't know that there are many until, the late Peter David comes in, and that's
Which is
not
funny because I have not read those comics, the Peter David ones. I
right.
grew up on the Bill Mantlo Sal Buscema Hulk,
And I
which
did
I
too,
enjoyed.
but
And then
like
John Byrne, and then when some people come in
yeah,
and do their little thing once in a while.
I don't think that I could pick anything out of those that would just make me go, oh man, if I got rid of the Hulk, I wouldn't get
Right,
to read that.
right.
Whereas with Spider-Man, God, like you could throw a dart and hit a Spider-Man and
Yeah,
Spider.
every time you're gonna get a lot of good Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and he's just the best character. All right, here we go. This is easy for me. The Fantastic Four versus the Avengers.
And the other one doesn't exist. Um,
But I'll say this: that's just the group. That doesn't mean you get rid of the characters in the Avengers
no, no,
because they
no,
could
no.
eat
That's
them,
what I.
right?
That's why I
But
was
the
going to say.
Fantastic Four, you'd be wiping out,
Right. That's why I would say the Fantastic Four. But also
right?
going to my argument with Spider-Man. I mean, I could pick a bunch of Avengers comics that I think are like definitive Avenger stories, but I think there's more on the Fantastic Four side. Like,
Right.
not just. I mean, just the Kirby Lee run alone. You could
Yes.
you could just like it's
Mark
insane.
Waid and Waringo, Mike
Ringo,
Waringo. You
Walt,
got
John
Simonson,
Byrne.
John Byrne. Yeah, and even the Hickman run had its perks.
And so
Like
did So did Dan's run, Dan Slott. Like there's
That's right.
a lot of good, Fantastic
Yeah,
Four comics out there. I mean, but like you said, like getting rid of the Avengers just gets rid of the group, doesn't get rid of the characters. So I would say
right.
Fantastic.
Fantastic Four. Okay, so this next one, it was predicated on the last answer
Okay,
because what I wrote here was X-Men versus whoever survives, FF or Avengers. So it's X-Men versus Fantastic Four.
I'm going with X-Men. I have much.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a bigger connection with the X-Men.
Wow.
I love FF, but there is nothing in this world I could like as a writer, as a creator. I don't think anything has been as influential as Chris Claremont and John Byrne, and then Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum, and then Chris Claremont and Paul Smith, and then Chris Claremont. I could go on,
Right.
John Romita Jr. Like I
Right.
don't think there's anything that touches that in like
Right.
my influential sphere. Whereas with
All
you,
right.
obviously, that
Well,
that
I'm FF all day long,
yeah.
do or die kind of. So it's almost unfair. All right,
By the
here's
way,
kind of
before
what
we go further, 25th anniversary of the X-Men movie coming out as well.
25 years.
2000. I can't believe that came out in 2000. I thought it was 99. But yeah, 2000.
So old. All right, here, and we don't have to elaborate on all of these because we'll unless you feel it. All right, the Defenders versus Thunderbolts.
That's a weird one. Only because the Defenders, even though there's been like a bunch of iterations of it, I think the one that really speaks to me is the Hulk, Silver Surfer, Namor, Doctor Strange team lineup.
Right.
And then so if I take that and I go, okay, original lineup of the Thunderbolts, which were the Masters of Evil, but in superhero, I say Thunderbolts.
Yet you keep
Yeah, I'd keep the Thunderbolts.
because conceptually it's a more interesting idea because
Absolutely.
Defenders never figured out what it
Right.
was supposed to be.
I
Right.
mean, and I read Defenders when it was like Beast, the Demon, this girl named Cloud, like the weirdest lineup.
There was Valkyrie at one point,
Yeah,
and there was that dude that had looks like he had wings. I forget what he was blue, and I forget his name.
I don't. Oh, I can see him. I can't think of his name.
I can't
But
remember his name. So they kind of had like B and C level character, which I do love a comic that's B and C level
absolutely,
character. You know,
absolutely.
and I think Thunderbolts. And by the way, I've never read a Thunderbolts comic, and I think as much as I did read a whole bunch of Defenders, and I read a lot of the oh God, who was the funky writer in the '70s at Marvel? It wasn't Englehart. It was or
It's
was it
not
Englehart?
Starlin.
No, no. Who wrote the Defenders where there was like Hulk and a deer, and there's like a little leprechaun dude that's trying to shoot everybody. It's so
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, I
I don't think it's Englehart, Steve Englehart. It might be now. Oh, who wrote Howard the Duck?
that was Englehart, wasn't it?
No. All right,
I don't
quickie.
believe I can't remember who wrote Howard the Duck now.
Uh, Howard
Uh,
the Duck.
something with a G. Steve Gerber?
Uh, Steve Gerber. Steve Gerber's run on
Defenders?
is bananas. You should read it sometime.
I'll
Do
have
yourself
to.
a favor. It's nuts.
Hulk and a
Uh, yeah. All right. So next one. This is hard, man.
oh, and
But
you should read the Kurt Busiek,
Thunderbolts.
Mark Bagley Thunderbolts. It's
Oh,
amazing.
okay. Captain America versus Iron Man.
Captain America. I cannot like
I know.
that's
I
ins-
know.
I
That's
mean,
right.
you know, um, I was reading Iron Man post Secret Wars. So like that's when I really got into it. So I think it was Bob Layton, Dave McElhaney, like era,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fantastic era.
Great.
Um, Demon in a Bottle. You have Rhodey as Iron Man. I think there's a lot of great stories. My God, I cannot get over how many good. Like I was flipping through a back issue bin at Three Rivers, and I just could not get over. Like, oh my God, I love that issue. I love that issue. No many issues. Like I could not. Like it was like an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
I mean, like you
Yeah.
got Mattis doing it. You have I know people will say like, the House That Dripped Dough or Capwolf with the Mark Grunwald era, but like they're still fun, you know.
Yeah, you're talking
And
about Captain America now.
yeah, and
Um, but
Mark
Iron
Wade.
Man had some great stuff, and I love the Denny O'Neil, Luke McDonnell run.
Oh yeah, that was good too. Yeah.
And then of course, uh, John Byrne had an incredible with I think Roger Stern, Captain America. Yeah, there's a lot of great comics, but I think ultimately you're right. Captain America beats Iron Man here.
I would in a million like that was like a no-brainer, really.
So the next one, Namor versus Black Panther.
I gotta say Black Panther. It's not even that I'm thinking hard,
Mm-hmm.
about which one. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
is there any does Namor work outside of being an antagonist to the FF? And I don't think the answer is yes. I know that there have been good Namor Submariner comics in history, but I don't think I care about Namor unless he's on the Invaders or if he's trying to get laid. Do you know what I mean?
With
Like
Sue
Sue
Storm, yeah,
Storm.
Susan
I
Richards.
really don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Black Panther, like,
There's a
yeah,
lot more going on with Black Panther, and they're both
absolutely.
kings or royalty. But all right, here's the next one: Doctor Strange versus the Silver Surfer.
God, you know what I was just thinking? I was like, John Buscema. And then I was thinking, oh man, Paul Smith on Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, and Michael Golden and Marshall
Ditko.
Rogers
Yeah,
and Ditko.
I would say Doctor Strange. That's a tough one though, because
It's really tough, but I think the answer is Doctor Strange. You got to
I
keep him.
think again, like there's a lot of goofy Silver Surfer comics out, and that's no disrespect to the creators that were trying their best. Um, you know, as goofy as they were, Ron Lim made it look really good. Do you know
I
what I mean?
will say this: Silver Surfer is kind of like um, less is more. Like the least I know about him,
Right.
and the more he shows up as an enigma, the better to me. Is what I like about Silver Surfer. When you get to know everything and all the feeling, like after a while, like but I do think there's more to explore with Doctor Strange. Okay, the next one.
You know what the other thing about Silver Surfer is? Um, they keep killing him off and then bringing him back and then killing him off and then bringing him back.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, like they're doing a Death of Silver Surfer again right now. I like,
Oh, see,
and
I
it's
don't even
like
pay
you're trying to
attention.
make me care, but I can't care if I'll
Right,
take Doctor Strange every time.
right, all right. Ghost Rider versus Shang Chi.
I love Ghost Rider. So it's such a dumb, goofy premise. Shang-Chi, you have Paul Galassi doing the artwork. Um, who was that? Doug Mensch that wrote those?
Yeah, and Shang Chi was also drawn by Gene Day.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah.
I remember getting the Gene Day issues. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Master of Kung Fu.
I don't, what's funny about those two is that they're both like predicated on 70s exploitation films. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like you have the Kung Fu explosion.
Well,
Uh,
you know what? I didn't write this down. This might make more sense. Luke Cage versus Shang Chi. Or wait, no, Iron Fist. Well, then it goes to Shang Chi.
yeah, yeah, I would say too. Like I don't think Iron Fist is as interesting without Luke Cage. Same thing. I don't think Luke Cage is as interesting without Iron Fist. I think
Well,
it's
now I'm just writing this right down right now. So you pick Ghost Rider,
absolutely.
and I'll go with Ghost Rider. I just wrote down Luke Cage versus Iron Fist.
I think you get like if you have to get rid of one, um, I don't really care about. I get representation. I get the importance of, not seeing another white guy, in a role that they shouldn't be in. I get
No,
that.
but Iron Fist because he's white and knows all the whatever all the martial arts or whatever and supernatural. But it also is playing off of like a Tarzan thing, isn't it?
Sure,
Like,
absolutely. And
right?
that's what I'm saying.
So
I
it's
don't really,
okay. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really care about that stuff. Like that's
Right,
that's somebody else's argument. Like it never said something, mean to me or never
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think Luke Cage over Iron Fist because such an
I'm the
interesting,
same.
like,
I agree.
the origin of that character is so interesting.
Yeah, no, I like Luke Cage a lot. All right, ready?
Yeah.
I think we know the answer, but just think about it for a second. Deadpool versus Wolverine.
I, I mean, I think the better matchup for Wolverine is the Punisher. Um,
Oh, that's interesting.
I think
I
I'd
didn't
still,
even have it down. I didn't have him down here.
I think I'd still pick Wolverine because they're both anti-heroes. Deadpool just annoys me sometimes. I like the character. I don't love him.
Right. So
Not,
who would Deadpool be up against? What is a like a to me he's like a Looney Tune character with
I think
guns.
you put Deadpool against Howard the Duck.
All right, let's do that. I'm about to do a switch here. So I'm doing Punisher versus Wolverine, and who would you pick?
I pick Wolverine.
And Howard the Duck uh versus Deadpool.
So what you have there, Howard the Duck versus Deadpool, is satire versus slapstick comedy. And it
Yeah.
really depends on where your sensibilities lie. Um,
Okay.
I can't recall, I'm not going to say I never have, but I can't recall ever reading a Howard the Duck comic
Hmm.
because it always seemed not above me. You know what it did? It seemed so counterculture that it seemed like heavy metal. You know the magazine,
Yeah.
like, and my older cousin read Howard the Duck and read heavy metal, and so it didn't seem like it was for me. And I think that's why I was always not reticent, but I just never really, glommed onto
Right.
it.
Right.
That all said, I'd still pick Howard the Duck over Deadpool.
Right. I mean, I I know what you mean because I'm also over. Oh, it feels like it's an overkill, Deadpool these days. But as much as I enjoyed him in the movies and stuff, and actually wrote and drew, I think a 4-page Deadpool
What I
story
thought.
for
I thought you
Deadpool
did.
1000. So this next one, I originally had something else, and then I just changed it, and then I fell. I just realized another thing. What about Nick Fury versus the Punisher?
I would. Ooh.
Because what I have here is Nick Fury versus the Winter Soldier.
Oh, characters. No, see, here's I. I think you're
And
right.
then I have a weird one after that. So let's just keep it this: Nick Fury versus the Winter Soldier, because I feel like they're in the same
I
sphere.
I have an unabashed love for the Winter Soldier concept, for the portrayal on screen for Ed Brubaker's comics. I would pick the Winter Soldier. I know that sounds crazy, but I would pick the Winter Soldier.
And so off the heels of that, and just bear with me here, because Winter Soldier is an era. So Rick Jones versus Bucky Barnes,
Oh man,
right? So Bucky Barnes is Bucky before he fell off the plane
right?
and became Winter Soldier. So I do believe they're two different characters in some ways,
In a way, yeah.
because
I
identity crisis he had.
I think Rick Jones. I think Rick Jones
Interesting.
like is such a. I wish I knew what they were doing with Rick Jones right now,
I
because
mean, tell me, it'd be great if Marvel did a Rick Jones, like not Marvel 2-in-1, but they
mm,
could do a Marvel 2-in-1 with Rick Jones.
absolutely, like he was
Come on.
everybody's sidekick. Brian Michael Bendis in the pages of Alias, the Jessica Jones comic,
Hmm.
had excerpts of Rick Jones's autobiography, and I was dying to read the whole thing. Just
Mm.
excerpt. I think at one point I did meet Peter David at a show. We had him for signings at Jim Hanley's, but at a show I met him before that, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Could you write?" Because he's the one that brought it up first. It's like, "Could you write the Rick Jones autobiography as a book?" I would totally read that, and I don't
Hmm.
think he took me seriously. I mean, who would? But I would read a Rick Jones
Dude,
autobiography.
that's your pitch. I think you should pitch to Marvel a Rick
I think
Jones.
I would love to, but I think there's better. I mean, I can't. I would never want to go on the heels of something Bendis did. Like it's not an insult to Bendis. I think that's
Right.
actually a compliment. Like I think
Right.
what he established was great.
All right. All right. This might be a quickie. Captain Marvel versus Star Lord.
Which Captain Marvel?
The one we
Marvel.
grew up, the one that died.
Okay, I have to make the distinction because, like,
Yes, you're right. You're right.
versus Star Lord. I think you got more stories out of Captain Marvel, even in death. I would say Captain Marvel.
I'm with Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel versus Spider Woman.
Miss Marvel for the same
Okay.
reason. I mean, especially if you're including her as Captain Marvel. Wait,
Yes.
wait, we're talking Carol, not Kamala
I'm
Khan.
sorry, Carol Danvers, and maybe even oh, what was the African American version
Monica
of
Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau? You could throw her in there, of
Yeah,
course.
I would pick them over Spider Woman. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Spider Woman was a Hydra agent that was a undercover or something. It was such a weird, convoluted story. Didn't need, you know,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
costume. I'll love
yeah.
that costume for the rest of my life.
Yep. All right. Devil Dinosaur versus Machine Man.
Machine Man. Oh my God. The, oh, I love Machine Man. I don't know how it has nothing to do with Kirby either, funny enough. It's the Barry Windsor Smith limited series.
Oh,
That
right,
thing just made that series made a
right,
fan for life. Like I love
right.
that story.
Well, I actually picked Devil Dinosaur because I love that era
Yeah.
and that story. And Machine Man is great, but if I had to lose one, I think it's Devil Dinosaur. And it comes with Moon Boy and that whole
Yeah, none
weird
of that stuff ever
story,
really spoke to me. But you know, the 2001 Kubrick connection is kind of cool, but that Barry
Sure.
Windsor Smith miniseries, man, gets me every
No,
time.
I hear you. I hear you.
Those
This one
covers,
is this next one is really tough, I think. Doctor Doom versus Magneto or Magneto.
Doctor
I
Doom.
mean,
That's not tough.
oh, okay. I'm
Like
with
I
Doom.
mean,
I will say this though, Magneto, that's how I say it, is actually the more interesting and complicated villain, don't you think?
I think so, but I also think that um, Doctor Doom is a catalyst for a lot of things in the Marvel universe, or he can be. Currently they're wrapping up the One World Under Doom story where he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme and he's basically in charge of everything. The
Right.
Secret War comic, Secret Wars that Jonathan Hickman did, where he got the powers of the Beyonder, fantastic story. I think he's a catalyst for a lot of stories that could be told. Um,
Hmm.
and like to the point where in Stray, will eventually be introducing a version, not a version of Doctor Doom, but like my, bootleg version of Doctor Doom, I guess. And like in coming up with that character, I just keep seeing stories coming, like, oh, I could do this,
Right.
I could do that. And it's all in service of Stray. But the thing is, it's just like, oh, if you take Doctor Doom with Captain America, if you take Doctor Doom with the X-Men, if you take, with any of these characters, you get a bunch of ideas immediately.
Right.
And
Right.
I
No,
think,
that's true.
Magneto works, I don't want to say like he only works with the X-Men. He works best with the X-Men as
You know,
a
it's funny.
counterpoint.
You're right. Like Doctor Doom can be the villain for all Marvel heroes.
Yeah.
Magneto is a very specific type of villain, almost to the point where he may not even be a villain, in some
Right.
ways.
I mean,
And but
I
when he
was,
was in, Jack Kirby, I think did an FF annual with Magneto
mhm.
that to this day still doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't even understand that comic book at all. Like,
Do you remember the Fantastic Four cartoon?
yeah,
There's an episode where Magneto shows up in that, and it makes no sense either.
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but and the thing is, I think he's important for the
Yes,
counterpoint to Charles Xavier, the Malcolm X, MLK argument. But I
right.
still think, just as a catalyst for stories, I think Doctor Doom is definitely better.
Yeah, yeah. And he built his own town or
But his own
country or
country,
whatever.
yeah.
All right, ready? The Red Skull versus Baron Zemo.
I love Baron Zemo. I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I might have even said it on the show a couple weeks ago. I absolutely love Baron Zemo. I don't have a reason though. That said, I think Red Skull. Um, I don't think you can have a Captain America without a Red Skull. I don't think.
Well, I would argue this, like you were talking about the limitations, let's say, of a Magneto, which isn't that limited, but next to a Doctor Doom, right? I
Yeah,
feel Baron Zemo has more Doctor Doom leverage than Red Skull is more Magneto in that he's just a Nazi with a fucked up head,
right.
like
But the you need that kind of antithesis for the Captain America character to have a purpose. You know, like I mean, Baron Zemo's a Nazi as well.
Yeah,
Like, so they're both Nazis,
right.
but I think, and they'll either one will work in that context. But I think that there's more at stake with Red Skull than there is with Baron Zemo, and I love Baron Zemo. I can't. I'm like, you don't like. I want to do a costume for Halloween of Baron Zemo this year. Like, I honestly do. Like, I'm rediscovering how much I love that character.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, I drew him in a Cyclops one shot that
I
had a whole
remember
bunch of villains.
that was with Carl,
That was
right? Carl Bowlers.
no, I don't know. I don't know who the writer was. I think it was a fake name. I think it was a bunch of editors that made up a fake name. And
Oh,
I
wonderful.
remember they did the thing that you always hear about is like, oh, you get to a fight scene and they say 2 pages,
Hmm.
and you're like, what the hell? I got to create the fight scene now. Like, like come on. All right, next one, Modoc versus Arnim Zola.
I hate Modoc more than most characters. I hate Modoc more than Deadpool. I'll put it to you that way. Arnim Zola. I know, I
Oh,
know, I know so many people. There is this is not relevant to the conversation, but I once asked Mark Andreyko, why do people like zombies? And he explained it to me. I need somebody to explain Modoc, like the big head, I don't get it. And like I think most people will tell you, oh, he's a Jack Kirby character, he's this and that. But I think the only thing they're responding to is how stupid he looks. And
mhm.
I mean, I can deal without that.
Yeah,
But
no,
I mean,
I'm an Arnim Zola guy as well, and
okay,
even
thank
that's
God.
absurd. But yeah, Modoc, man, oh my Lord. I mean, he'd be fun to draw a couple times, but what a whack character, right? Like,
Totally.
all right, this one's pretty easy, although if you think about it, it's a little hard. But
Okay.
I couldn't figure out the verses. So, Galactus versus Annihilus.
That's a pretty good one. It's not terrible. Um, Annihilus is pretty cool, but
Yeah,
I think Galactus is the one you keep only because even if he's not always bugging the FF with eating worlds, the idea that he could eat any world and like perhaps destroy the scrolls like he did in one of the like the scroll home world, I think he's such a cool visual too. Um,
yeah.
I think I would keep.
Annihilus though kind of takes us out of not necessarily takes us out of the negative zone, but there isn't a lot of. I mean, unless you got tossed in the negative zone,
Yeah,
Annihilus
he's
is the
not.
ruler
There's not
basically.
much to do with him outside of the negative zone, that's for sure. But
Yeah,
such a cool, like another visually stunning and interesting character.
yeah,
But I would say Galactus.
yeah. I think ultimately it's Galactus. Mad Thinker versus Puppet Master.
I never really cared for Mad Thinker. I would say Puppet Master.
I'm the other way around because it's great to have Puppet Master be Alicia Masters.
That's my
Oh my God, I just got that for the first time.
what?
Puppet Master?
Yeah, last name.
Alicia Masters? I never put that together until just now. I don't even know if that's intentional. That's crazy.
That was
Anyways, so Mad Thinker though, one of my favorite 3 or 4 issues of the Fantastic Four Lee Kirby run has to do with the Mad Thinker creating basically a Terminator
Mhm.
that almost kills the Fantastic Four, and it's such a great like three
What's
or
the name
four
of that thing?
issues.
It's like the
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 Super Android, I think. Not, I think it's not Adaptoid, but the Super Android, I think. Maybe he's green with
yeah.
no
No,
face.
that's a super adaptoid.
So no, he doesn't adapt because he just is. Or maybe you know what? And
Time preeminent.
it was like issue 69, 70, 71, or something like that of FF original run.
Yeah, I'm looking at the super adaptoid action figure. He's the green one.
Ah, awesome. I love that guy. Okay. I don't know if this is right. In fact, I want to change something right now. All right, I'm going to make it
Okay.
this. The Mole Man versus Psycho Man.
Do you understand? I'm sitting here going, he's probably not going to bring up Psycho Man. Psycho Man's one of my favorite villains too. And I was
I
like,
know,
he's
right?
probably not going to bring him up. I, the fact that you brought him up makes me like, yeah, I'll take Psycho Man every time. I love Psycho
Awesome.
Man. Such a stupid character.
I know. But
And
he's
I and I
awesome
and I say
looking.
stupid, like I've said it a lot in this conversation. Stupid is not a bad thing. Stupid is
Right.
just
Of course. Of course.
simple. Like how do you like just he's got an iPad before iPads were
Yeah.
a thing.
Basically. Basically. All right. How about, and he's very popular right now, so he'll probably win, but Kang the Conqueror versus the High Evolutionary.
I He travels back in time, man. I'm a time travel guy.
So Kang. Kang.
Absolute.
Yep. How about Claw versus the Red Ghost?
Ooh, Claw's interesting. Not. I don't think anybody's ever done right by him. Red Ghost, I think.
He has such potential, right? He has
Yeah,
potential. He doesn't have his rock and roll story, right?
no.
Like,
Whereas the Red Ghost, I think, because he comes with monkeys, like he
but
gets.
he's also a product of of his time. I think the Red Ghost.
Yeah,
So I'm more into Claw myself.
me too. I mean, visually, fantastic looking character. Also, I think he just like I think there's a lot of potential for him as well.
So I got two more before we go to DC.
Okay,
Super Scroll versus the Molecule Man.
I could deal. I could live without the Molecule Man for like I he's okay, like but like Super Scroll again. You're talking about comics. It's got to be visually interesting. It's got to be compelling. The guy that has the powers of all four members of the Fantastic Four.
I just realized I messed that one up. It should be Super Scroll because the next one I have, and then we'll reverse engineer it, was the Frightful Four versus the Wrecking Crew. And then I have a thought about that, but let's go back to Super Scroll versus the Frightful Four.
That's interesting.
That I'd like to see
Really?
that comic book, you know?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
I
I just
Let
realized.
me ask this to qualify it. If you get Super Scroll, do you get the rest of the scrolls?
I was trying to keep it like solo.
Got it. I would say the Frightful Four. If you told me the other way around, if you told me like Super Scroll comes with a package deal with the scrolls,
Right,
I would take that. But the
right.
Frightful Four, I think, is like they're an odd team, man.
Well, that's the thing. They've been different things.
Yeah,
And the older I get, as much as I would have originally picked the Frightful Four, there's something interesting about the Wrecking Crew because you got is Sandman on both of those, Frightful Four and Wrecking Crew?
no, he's not on the Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew
Well, they
is
have Absorbing Man,
sometimes. I mean,
and I put Absorbing Man in the Frightful Four thing comic I did with Evan Dorkin,
mhm,
or at least Evan Dorkin wrote him that is into it, and so I drew it. But Wrecking Crew also has to do with the crowbar,
mhm.
to do
Wrecker,
with a wrecker. I mean, I just like
Bulldozer.
there's something very very Kirby-esque about the Wrecking Crew.
They're also, like when you think about the first couple of villains that Spider-Man fought, they were like the Circus of Crime and like Dandy Dan. I can't remember their names now, but like Ox and like they're just like dudes in
Mm-hmm.
cowboy hats. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yep.
so
Yep.
like they're just so normal guys. And the
Yeah.
Wrecking
I
Crew is
like the
basically
Village People if they were villains.
absolutely, and the Wrecking Crew is basically just a construction site that got Asgardian weapons.
Right. Right.
So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely, that's awesome.
Easy, right? Like, all right, here we go. DC. This is actually, I don't know if I know the answer to this one for DC.
These are
DC
going to be
Comics.
hardest for me because I'm more of a DC guy than I
Right.
am a
And these
Marvel.
are less. This is half of what we just did.
That's
So
fine.
Batman versus Superman.
You can't do that to me, man. I don't think my life would be my life without Batman. And I say
Mm-hmm.
that like knowing what a big influence Superman was early on in my life. I don't think I don't think I would be who I am without Batman. So I would say Batman.
I think Batman. I think you're right. Green Lantern versus the Flash.
With the Flash, I don't want to. You know what? I'm not going to qualify it. Um, Flash.
Really?
Yeah, I love the Flash. I
I'm a
have a
Green
Flash
Lantern guy.
tattoo.
Oh wow, I'm a
Yeah,
Green Lantern guy. All right. Uh, Aquaman versus Martian Manhunter.
Aquaman.
I think you're
Martian
right.
Manhunter only works well within the JLA. Martian Manhunter solo books don't usually sell that well.
Although the new series
New one
is fun.
is an
Yeah.
outliar. You know,
Yeah.
I'll give
True.
you that. It's also an absolute Martian Manhunter, so it's an outlier of an
Oh,
outlier.
right, right, right,
Um,
right.
Whereas with Aquaman, there have been I like Aquaman a lot. Peter David again, Peter David,
Hmm.
Jeff Johns, the Sub Diego. Remember Sub Diego, Dean?
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. I
And
read
then
that. Oh, we talked about yeah.
yeah, so I would say Aquaman.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This one actually is again tougher than you think. It's going to sound a little odd. Wonder Woman versus Lois Lane.
That's not right. That's so wrong. Um,
I can't imagine. I know we got rid of Superman, but
yeah,
she could be writing about him and
yeah,
having dates with Clark Kent.
that's weird. That's weird. A DC Comics
If
without
you imagine a DC universe without a Lois Lane, I mean, I know we're doing this hack and slash thing right now, but
I
without Lois Lane,
do you understand? Like, I think people always like not misinterpret, but like don't quite get how like you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, right?
yep,
From
Trinity,
the
the
Golden
Trinity.
Age, and then you have Robin, and then you have Lois Lane. Those are the five most important characters DC Comics has
Hmm.
ever, created. Like
Hmm.
that's crazy. And then you can maybe say the Joker, um, but like it's crazy how important she is.
Yep,
But I don't think no, I would Lois Lane. I'll take Lois Lane because
me
she can
too.
report on Batman. She can report on the Flash. She can report on any of it.
And she actually had I think it was called Girl Reporter, Lois Lane
Yeah.
Girl Reporter
But
comic
there's a
series.
really fantastic Greg Rucka maxi series from a couple years back. That was a Lois Lane maxi series. That was really good. And it's very
She was even African American for 24 hours, and I
yes,
am curious
and Curious
black.
Black.
Um, all right, yeah, Lois Lane, man. Sergeant Rock versus Creature Commandos.
So you get an easy company, I guess, right?
Right, you're getting easy company with
And
Sergeant
I would say
Rock.
Sergeant Rock.
I mean, that's probably the answer. As much as I love the idea, not always the execution, but the idea of Creature Commandos.
Yeah, and then there's also, Joe Kubert art.
Yeah, exactly. How about the Legion of Superheroes versus the Teen Titans?
Teen Titans. And I'll tell you why.
Mhm.
You don't have Superman, there's no need for a Legion of Superheroes.
Wait, without Superman?
Yeah. The Legion of
There's
Superheroes.
so many great. I mean, like, didn't Paul Levitz do a great run with Keith Giffen on the Legion
Yeah.
of Superheroes
Yeah. But
and introduce Lobo? And anyway,
and understand this though. If Superman doesn't exist, the Legion of Superheroes doesn't exist because they were created, in continuity, they came together because of the inspiration of Superman.
oh right,
So if we get rid of Superman, there's no Legion of Superheroes.
interesting. Okay, all right. The Demon versus Omac.
OMAC.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
the demon gets a little uh, tough to take a little, but OMAC,
True.
again, going back to like the idea of Doctor Doom, I think OMAC in any number of situations is a lot of fun.
Tons of potential.
Mm.
This one might be hard. I know my answer. Joker versus Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
What?
Yeah. Joker's like Deadpool in a sense. I love the Joker. Like, one of my favorite villains, probably after like in DC Comics, definitely my favorite villain. But I think Lex Luthor is with his baggage, like I think he's interesting. I don't know why.
No, I mean, and we just saw a movie that you
Yeah,
know did a great Lex Luthor. I'm a Joker guy all the way because I feel like there's still a lot more potential. I mean, they've done a lot. They ripped his face off,
that's the
man. Like,
thing. Like they've done so much with the Joker. It's almost like could you see a world without him? And then they do like a year, like then they do like this, like there's a moratorium on using Joker for a year. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
nothing's really
right,
that different. Like it's
right,
all okay.
right. It's funny because I've been holding on to an idea for a Joker story
Mhm.
called resting Joker face. You
What?
know, like resting bitch
Oh
face,
yes.
resting Joker face. But
Uh-huh.
also, um, at one point, me and Mark Wade were going to do a story that involved Batman and Superman, and it's called Crush, and maybe someday we'll do it. But part of the story was um, what happens when you inject Bizarro with Joker serum? He
Ooh,
becomes super sane.
right.
The exact opposite happens, you know, and like he becomes more terrifying because he's now has all his faculties. Nothing is backwards, it's all frontwards, you know. And anyway, that's something we might someday do, probably never happen.
There's another reason why I'll choose Lex Luthor, and that's because um, there was a Justice League Rock of Ages story that Grant Morrison wrote, and he has both Lex Luthor and the Joker in it. And the Joker is really interesting in that story.
Mm,
But it comes back to the idea that Lex Luthor put the entire story kind of together, like he planned.
right.
So I would still say Lex. I think he's
You're
Dr.
probably right. I just like the idea of the Joker. Plus, if I ever did my Joker, if you let me do my Frank Miller, Paul Pope, you know, Batman, you know, 4 issues, whatever, I would recast Joker to be based on Joe Spinell in Maniac,
Hmm.
like a heavy set, you
Oh,
know,
I wonder what.
ugly, just like a fat, like Joker that's really gluttonous and yet weirdly more terrifying, you know?
Huh.
So
Have you ever
I know.
drawn that?
I did kind of draw something once. I didn't love it. I need to perfect it.
Yeah, I
So,
want to
but
see
that,
that.
yeah, yeah. All right. So a few more. Ra's al Ghul versus Brainiac.
Can I get rid of both? And I say that only because like I like both characters. Um, I do. Am I trying to convince myself that I like them both? Um, uh, I I'll say Ra's al Ghul.
You'll keep him
Yeah,
probably because of Talia.
and Damien and the whole that whole
Right.
entire thing like makes him very
Right.
interesting.
Right. Right. All right. Sinestro versus Black Adam.
Sinestro,
I think you're right.
best name, best name of any villain, really.
This next one's hard. I know my answer, but it's a little hard actually. You may be easier for you. Riddler versus Two Face. You got Two Face on your arm.
Yep, I'd say Two Face.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Also, because Two Face could just speak in riddles if we wanted
Sure,
to.
like one side of him could be the Riddler.
Yeah. Mr. Freeze versus Poison Ivy.
Dude, come on. No, Mr. Freeze versus Captain Cold.
Oh, well, it's Mr.
And I'll
Freeze.
tell you, no, well, not necessarily because
Really?
Captain Cold is like a cold-hearted thief. Like he just loves stealing stuff. Mr.
Right.
Freeze,
But he's
he's
got that whole wife-ish situation.
sympathetic character,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
sometimes you just want somebody to be like just a rogue. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I would say Captain Cold.
yeah. Interesting. Well, then the next one I had was Harley Quinn versus Catwoman, and really it'd be probably be Poison Ivy. But I
I
couldn't figure out a Catwoman, you know, or Catwoman versus Batgirl.
Batgirl.
All right, so let's do this. Catwoman versus Batgirl. You said Batgirl. I
Batgirl.
say Catwoman.
Uh-huh.
And then what about
Poison
Harley
Ivy
Quinn versus
versus
Poison
Harley.
Ivy?
As funny as it sounds, like even though she's only been around relatively a couple of years, I would say Harley.
Yes, I
Har-
think you're right.
and I'll put it to you this way too. Like in this world that I've created where I don't have a Joker, Harley
Right,
would be my Joker.
right, right. Uh, I have two more, and one I didn't have a versus, which you might have to help me with.
Okay.
The next one is Deathstroke versus Bane.
Deathstroke. Oh my God.
Oh wait, all day long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the next one I have is, and this is ironic, the Question versus, and I have a question mark. Who would he be versus? And then how would you pick? I could not figure out.
I'm gonna pick the Question. He's one of my favorite
Well,
characters.
the question would be the answer. But
The
who
question
is
is the answer. But
what
the
is?
question is who is
Yeah.
who's his versus? Um,
How about this? Uh, Green Arrow? No.
yeah, actually. They both operate out of really crappy cities.
Okay.
Um, I'd still say the Question.
Okay. And I didn't have a Robin.
Here's your Robin. Ready?
Yep.
Robin versus Nightwing.
Ah, interesting. Okay. I'm going to say, hold on. I know your answer. I'm going to say Robin. Your Nightwing.
Yeah, all day long.
Yep. Yep.
Here's a
Okay. Here.
versus for you because I think
Okay.
we have to like cut it off at this point.
Well, we got a few more Marvel DC, and then we'll save the comics creators for the next verses.
Okay,
Okay,
so
go ahead.
let me give you this one. Robin or Bucky Barnes?
Right. So I wanted to do that later on,
Oh,
right?
that's what
Because
the next one is?
I
Okay.
have Marvel. I'll put that in right now because I didn't have that one.
Okay.
Robin, Bucky. What's your answer?
Robin. Like that's easy.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Here's the next one:
Okay.
Spider-Man versus Superman.
Just because I don't think you can
This is Marvel versus DC now.
yeah, I don't think you can have one without the other. Superman.
Wow.
Not Superman, there's no Spider-Man.
Yes, there is. Yes, there
No.
is.
No. Like without the model,
Spider-Man's from Queens, Superman's from Metropolis. It's made up city.
but without the
They're different
model of what a
universes.
superhero can be, I don't think you know what Spider-Man has the potential to be.
But I do feel like they have such different like
Yeah.
Superman is an immigrant. We just watched a movie where his greatest superpower is his humanity. Spider-Man is was started off as a reluctant hero, who then someone had to die in order for him to, you know, feel responsible with his powers, and he's dealing with his aunt and such more like but weirdly enough, they both are kind of reporters.
Yeah.
With a photographer and the other one writes about stuff.
Right.
Um, I think my answer is Spider-Man.
You might
I
have
know what you mean by you can't have one over the other,
yeah,
but I
you might have
enjoy
convinced me.
Spider-Man more than Superman,
You might have convinced me though. I think Spider-Man's the right answer.
Yeah. This next one is easy, but I didn't know who to pit him against at Marvel. Is Batman versus Hulk.
Are you just
This,
doing the crossover thing?
yeah, I'm doing the yeah.
I mean, technically, Batman versus Iron Man would be the real one because they're both
Oh,
rich, they're both inventors, they
all right.
both use
I'm gonna say that instead. Iron Man. So what do you think? It's still Batman.
yeah.
Still Batman.
Yeah.
New Gods versus the Eternals.
New Gods.
New Gods. All
Eternals
right.
Eternals kind of got boring, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it, but the comic, not the movie. The movie's a totally different thing, but like
All right, here's two tough ones. X-Men versus Teen Titans.
oh well, who would
Yep.
Paul choose? I would say and it's that roster of the Teen Titans versus that roster of the X-Men.
No, it can be all. Well, there's more X-Men than there is Teen Titans, so let's keep it like to as far as the Byrne Claremont. I guess that same era,
Yeah,
basically.
I would say Teen Titans
I,
based on
I think
like
I'm with you on that. I think I'm with you. This next one, Avengers versus the Justice League of America.
I'm going to say something very controversial as far as, the way people know me. I think there are more great Avenger stories than there are JLA stories. So I would say the
Sure.
Avengers.
I think I'm with you on that.
And and
This
and then like you look at the roster, Justice League, Superman, but like with the Avengers, like it means something to be an Avenger. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
whereas with the Justice League, I think there's only like five or six guys that like um, you choose them to be on the team, they really, like feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. This next one, I just couldn't figure out a Fantastic Four versus. So I wrote Doom Patrol. I could have written Challengers of the Unknown, but Fantastic Four beats all of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can.
So I just don't know a formidable Fantastic Four, foil at DC, you know?
They had a team called the Terrifics a couple of years ago that Evan Shaner
Right.
was drawing, and it was like almost like the movie. It was Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Plastic Man, and Phantom Girl, I think, from the Legion of
Oh,
Super.
I think I was that a Steve Lieber drawn comic or something,
He
maybe?
might have drawn a couple of issues, one or two there, here and there, but like,
Hmm.
but yeah, like they were made to, like I think they were trying to do like a one-to-one Fantastic Four analog, but I
Sure,
still think
sure.
Fantastic Four.
I mean, FF's going to win. There's nothing formidable. And then the last one I had right now, and then we'll do comics creators another time, is now I know one is basically the spawn of the other in a way, but Thanos versus Darkseid. Now that we've seen Thanos in the movies, and we know a lot about Darkseid in the comics, a little bit of him in the movies. I, what do you think?
When Thanos was created, he was an Iron Man villain, if I remember correctly.
Yes, by Jim Starlin.
Yeah. When Darkseid was created, he was Darkseid. Like
Yes,
it was like he came out fully formed.
yes,
And I think Thanos needed years to be Thanos, whereas
yes.
Darkseid was always Darkseid.
And Thanos was clearly a reaction to Darkseid at
Yeah,
Marvel.
yeah. And I think you can make the argument that the Infinity Gauntlet, um, the you know, subsequent, stories, then the movies made Thanos Thanos. But I think,
And the love affair with Death, which I think
yeah,
is great.
yeah, but I think Darkseid just has like, and it's weird to say that he came out fully formed, but he did. Like he was just like, I don't know. I wish Kirby were still alive, or that I could have asked him the question, like, what were you thinking? Like, where did this come
Mm,
from? Because it's such a hard, it's such a hard character um, to parse into pieces so that you can understand him. Like, he can be any great evil you want him to be. Like, did Kirby make him as an amalgam of all the Axis powers during World War II? Did he? Because I mean, there's a Mussolini vibe to him,
oh, with
There's
his hands behind his back and
Yeah,
walking around
like there's
like,
there's there's a lot that, and I'm looking at an action figure. That's why I keep looking up there, of Darkseid. But like the only thing Darkseid lacks is a really bold costume. That's the only thing. Like Thanos is, like he's kind of, like made, but like Darkseid sometimes is wearing a skirt. Like
yeah. I love the design. I love the way he looks. You say fully formed, which is I never thought of it that way, but it's almost like what do you call a blacksmith,
yeah,
and he comes out and he's like burning coal,
yeah,
like, and yet he's as quiet as he is loud at
yeah.
times. Like, what an interesting character, like very complex.
You know what I love too about Darkseid is that in his absence, everything falls apart. Like all of the people that like suck up to him are fighting for his scraps, and then like he
Right.
shows up and everybody's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
Yep.
They're
Yep.
like kids that just got like the principal just came in,
No, it's
like. But I think I would keep Darkseid over Thanos, and
yep.
it's not even like a Thanos exhaustion at this point. Like I'm like I've seen Thanos so many times that I'm like, no, I enjoy the character. I just think that like God, what a amazing moment of lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
Like I mean,
Yep.
and like he didn't even show up in a New Gods comic first. He showed up in Forever People.
Yep.
Like like Forever People wasn't even like the concept. It was just like a
Right.
minor concept within the bigger concept. And like then you throw
Yep.
this guy at us.
Yep. Yep. It's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, that
Oh,
was
hey,
my
hey, here we go. Here's one for you.
Okay.
FF versus the Forever People.
Well, it's
Well,
Fantastic Four. You say FF. Of
yeah.
course, it's Fantastic Four.
Is it?
Like, wait, you like the Forever People more than the
No,
Fantastic?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
But I'm trying to play devil's advocate to see if you would
oh.
actually like logic it out and like go, wait a minute, like
I don't know the Forever People that well. I just know them being cosmic hippies, basically, right?
right,
Like,
right.
and like in some ways, well, it's also they're a product of their time, and the Fantastic Four was also that. But the Fantastic Four was maybe more like the Fabulous Four, like the Beatles,
Yeah.
versus the Forever Four. I'm sorry, I have a
Forever,
character called the Forever Four. The what are they called again
Forever
now?
People.
The Forever People. It was did they have Beautiful Dreamer? See, I like Beautiful Dreamer. Gosh, I don't know. I feel like did
Here's
Rob Liefeld ever do anything with those characters? I
no
almost feel like
thing. Seems
they
like
would
it'd
be
be up
right
his
up his
alley.
alley,
Yeah.
Like
The only thing that I would, say the only thing the Forever People really have is that they combine to be Omega Man or what is it called? Like,
right, right.
that's the only thing I think
Well,
they
that reminds me of one of my favorite characters that Kirby ever did was Ben Boxer.
yes.
And when he punches his chest and he becomes like, basically Colossus or,
Mm,
a metal fusion of something.
yeah.
Uh, I've always wanted to do something with Ben Boxer from Commandy.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't think of Commandy in here at all either. Damn it. Interesting. That's another series that I'm behind on. I need to read that series.
Hmm.
That Commandy actually has my favorite to wrap it all up and turn it all the way around to Superman.
Hmm.
There's an issue of Commandy where they find the Superman costume
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out his legacy and what he was. And he never shows up because he's either dead, I forget, or gone or something. And we never talk about whether or not Superman can age. Obviously, he can because he went from baby to 30. But does he get old like us? I mean, I think Alan Moore with Kurt Swan wrote that story, right?
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, uh, that's one of my favorite Superman stories.
Yeah.
Is the idea of Superman in the future?
Mhm.
So post-apocalypse Superman. All right, man. Well, anything else?
No, let's get out of here. This was fun.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for playing the game. All
I hope
right,
everybody goes to see that movie.
it's the best.
It really is. Like it just I want to go see it tomorrow and I can't. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things like, ugh.
Yep, yep.
Like I want it on streaming tomorrow so I could just sit in my house and watch it as often as anyway. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you next week with episode 30.
Yeah, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.